to open questions, to any questions from the floor. Is there anyone from the team who would like to give a heads up to the community about things that have changed in the past couple of weeks? Anyone? I know we have plenty of things in flight, so maybe nothing worth mentioning today. One final call. Anyone from the team wants to do an update?
Yeah, actually, I have been working slowly towards open sourcing the mod domain mapper. I now have a PR up, although it's incomplete, so I'll continue with that documentation this week and hopefully actually get that merged out for the community to use. If anybody's interested and really wants access to the module early, as I said, it's in PR, so you can check out the Jitsi Meet repo and see the module and some example config files. In the end, I hope to also have some good documentation and have run through it myself once, so I'm not just lying to you that this all works. So I hope to have that finished hopefully in the next couple of weeks by the next community call.
Sounds good. Thank you, Aaron. Anyone else from the team?
This is Jonathan. I've been making some changes to the bridges bandwidth estimation code. So far, there shouldn't be too much in the way of user visible, but the goal is to make it easier to plug in other bandwidth estimation algorithms as they're developed. So if anybody's interested in doing any work on that, let me know. Or if you see anything weird, if you're using tip of master on JVB, and that'll filter that into the actual new Jitsi releases over the next the usual schedule.
Yep. Thanks, Jonathan. Anyone else from the team? All right. So sounds like we'll have more updates in a couple weeks. At this point, anyone from the community with any questions?
So I have one question, Amir. So this is Kaidon from
Hi,
Compass.
Kaidwan.
Yeah. So is it a mid-GT use a new JRB 2.0?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So any kind of timeline?
Honestly, probably not far off. I mean, but we've done some experiments with deploying one of the shards of Meet Jitsi with new bridge. We just haven't quite gotten around to kind of analyzing and seeing how that looks to know whether or not we should be good for a broader rollout. Nothing's blown up there. So I think we probably should start increasing it, but we just haven't yet. So it's not at this point, it's not a question of known issues or anything like that. There's still maybe some unknowns. It's just a matter of us kind of feeling good and doing the rollout.
Actually, Kaidwan, if you have the opportunity to run it in some sort of a way like ourselves, in a better environment, only partially, I think we'd be interested in that, right, Brian?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's also worth pointing out that beta Meet Jitsi is running on new bridge. Now, beta Jitsi is, it goes down with every upgrade, so it's not like a production thing. But if you did want to do any experiments or something on an environment that already had it, you could do it on beta.
I honestly, I run some kind of cool things with the new JRB 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
And because we know, we in Kamaka we need to upgrade to 2.0 to support detail 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a lot of change to GT's code, a lot of customization, and Jigazi and Jigofo, and migrate over Jigazi Jigofo change to the new Jigazi Jigofo take a long time. So we take another way, and we use the JRB 2.0. And we still with old Jigofo, very old, okay, very old. And we change Jigazi to, because at this time we focus on peer-to-peer core, right? Emir knows we do peer-to-peer core at this moment.
Right.
And we run JRB with the free switch.
Mhm.
and we change a little bit Jitsi to support the free switch virtual. So basically, there's no SIP in Jitsi, but we make Jitsi and we make free switch talk with JRB to our directly. Make a little bit change in JRB because
Uh-huh.
now I can share, and JRB cannot because the free switch the detail certificate is very big.
Mhm.
Very big. It is 4K. So we have some issue with JRB. So when do I see detail handshake, there's some problem. So I change the free switch code to generate smaller certificate.
Wait,
And
are you saying that that's happening on JVB if you run a big certificate against it and a problem occurs?
yes, free switch send a very big certificate, and JRB has some issue to to negotiate detail and 1.2 handshake.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I change the code, and I change free switch code to make it small because usually Chrome certificate is very small, right?
Hmm.
And but free switch certificate very big, the 4K, and I change free switch code to make it smaller,
But wait,
and it
how
works.
do you have free switch talk directly to the JVB?
Okay, I told you before, right? I changed Jitsi code. I still use XMPP to talk with the Prosody to talk with JRB to the Jigofo, but I change the I get rid of SIP. I use virtual talk with JRB. Basically, in Jitsi, I run some kind of virtual and XMPP gateway.
So you're saying that you're just relaying all the media and you're not doing
Yeah.
the
I
SRTP
just make it
termination in
free
Jigasi
switch and JRB media talk. I do some kind of
through
signaling
Jigasi,
translating. Yeah.
or you're not even relaying through Jigasi. You're just setting up the signaling through Jigasi.
Yes. On Jitsi side, we still use XMPP talk with Jigofo, right? And Jigofo talk with JRB, right?
Okay.
And but on Jitsi side,
All right.
I don't use SIP to talk with the free switch. I use virtual to
No,
talk with the free
got
switch.
it. Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. You just removed Jigasi from the media path and you kept it only on the
Exactly.
signaling path.
Yeah. And
I remember now.
yeah.
So, uh, um, if you're interested in poking in, that would be bouncy castle, right, Brian? The thing that would be failing, if anything is
I
failing
would
out there.
I would think if there's something there, but is that what you care
Yeah,
about,
Kaidoan, if you
or are
Also,
you just recommend it from the side?
another thing very interesting, and it's free switch the shard, the fingerprint algorithm not correct, and so cause some issue in JRB because the handshake in a detail hand we verify the fingerprint, right? And because the shard algorithm is wrong, I have to come out that code. Don't certificate. Don't verify the certificate fingerprint. But Lina JRB issue, this free switch issue.
Okay.
I just want to say basically the audio quality is very good, and the performance is also very good. So this reason I want to know when JRB is ready to roll out for the meet for the production. Yeah.
Okay.
But now I'm running latest JRB, but still not latest one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So at this point, well, George has been doing some load testing, and then at this point, the plan is to basically kind of start slowly rolling out 2.0 because we don't have any known issues. So it's just a question of finding something that we don't know about this yet at this point. So it's just about finding some unknowns. So there's not a known blocker, but yeah, as you can guess, like we've not gotten enough confidence yet to just deploy it across all of Meet. So
Yeah.
we're just going to do that, and we'll be continuing to do that. So I don't have anything in terms of a firm timeline for you, but I hope it won't be too much longer.
Yeah, because I'm following your GD check-in, right? I saw
Yeah.
a lot of check-in every day, so I'm wondering and
Yeah,
even a new check-in cause some issue because I really don't want to upgrade our code very frequently.
Right. Yeah. So the work that you're seeing is kind of is not stuff that's addressing kind of known blockers. It's things that we
Okay.
consider non-blocking, but we're just kind of continuing work on in parallel. So it's not like all those things you see are fixes for stuff that's like, oh, these are all showstoppers and we need to get them fixed before we can do it. It's just kind of all the known blocking work at this point, I'd say, is done. All the,
Okay,
like I
that's
said, all
good,
that
yeah.
remains is unknowns. So it's just a matter of discovering those.
Yeah,
and
the
getting
reason I want
confident.
some kind of stable version because some
Yeah.
kind of master or something like that. I can build my work from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't blame you.
Another issue, does the new JRB supported REST API?
Yes, the REST API is the same as before.
Okay.
A few pads have moved around slightly, but mostly debug stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I did relocate some of the newer debug stuff we introduced in 2.0. But the main like conferences one from the kind of the signaling point of view, that's the same.
On a different topic, unless there's any more questions on this one. Okay. So on a different topic, a question for the community actually, and we don't have that many people attending today, so maybe just reach out to us if you have details of our community. But we're interested in, so we lost. It seems that we lost a number of users from United Arab Emirates on the Jitsi in the past few weeks. So I was wondering if anyone attending the call or anyone listening to the live stream is aware of what sort of bans operate there. Like, is it a DNS ban? Is it IP address based bans or anything like that? Would be interested in more information if anyone knows exactly what's going on there. Again, if you are not on this call, you can reach out to us on community.jitsi.org. We're just trying to help. Any other questions from the community?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
I hope you're doing well. I actually have a question about Firefox. It's just simple. Why doesn't Firefox support simulcast unlike Chrome, and why it doesn't make any bandwidth estimation?
I'm not hearing you that well. It felt like you asked, why is there no simulcast support in Firefox?
Yes, exactly.
Was that? So, because no one has done it, is really the simplest answer. It's a matter of adding support for simulcast in. Well, we first need to have it supported for unified plan in SDP negotiation, and then we need to have the what were these codes? The packet identifiers.
The RIDs.
The RIDs in the bridge. When we tried looking at that, I think it was early 2018. The support was still in motion, so in Firefox. So it was kind of tricky to get it done on our side. And since then, we just hadn't. Most of our bridge efforts had been concentrated on rewriting the bridge. And obviously, now that the rewrite is sort of done, that would be a good time for contributions. So if anyone would like to help with that sort of stuff, it's most welcome.
And the other half of the question, I guess, was the bandwidth estimation. And there, the problem is because the Firefox doesn't support the bandwidth estimation feedback mechanism that Chrome uses. So either we have to support the older mechanism that they do use, or I know that there's some interest from the Firefox team in supporting the newer one that's being standardized right now, which would be better if they did it. So hopefully, if they can support that, we can.
Okay, so it's more a Firefox issue than Jitsi's. right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's a very
Firefox.
philosophical question, actually.
But yeah, the Firefox has a number of features that so Firefox, generally speaking, I would say the way things go is that Chrome tends to invent its own mechanisms quickly, whereas Firefox tends to wait for actual standardization stuff to be done. And as a result, since we want to support Chrome quickly, we end up supporting that, and then the standard stuff comes later or not at all. So it's then the question, and then they do things differently. So then the question is, do we want to change how we do things, especially if Chrome isn't supporting the new ways yet? So it's sort of I guess, like Emil said, it's a philosophical question of who's doing something wrong. Arguably, it's Chrome that's doing something wrong, but what can you do?
Yeah, all right.
I think you can actually argue it both ways, but let's not go into the philosophical part, I guess.
Yeah, all right. So when it comes to bandwidth usage, there's no difference between using Electron app, GS, and the Firefox, the Chrome browser, right?
Well, in that, the Electron app is an older version of Chrome, so there's that difference. But most things would work very similarly to Chrome. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. So I have a second question, and the last one. So sometimes on my deployments here, I notice a 2-second delay between audio and video for some participants. Do you by any chance know what could the reason be?
So, I'm trying to remember now whether we actually assert. I don't know if we have that. So anyone on this call from the team, do you remember if we currently have the media stream hack in use where we are stitching the streams together on Jitsi so that Chrome would synchronize them?
I don't think.
Yeah,
I
Brian.
think we got rid of that.
Right. So essentially, I don't know if someone else wants to go into the details here, but essentially what we've seen is that basically most of the time audio and video will be in sync without you doing anything. And when they're not in sync, the only way to address that is to just delay one of them, because you can't make the other one go faster, so you have to delay one of them. And that tends to sometimes produce okay results. Sometimes it just ends up, for example, delaying audio, for example, for the sake of catching up with video, which is probably causing more of a problem than it's actually solving. Because, in many cases in the conference, the most important time-sensitive aspect is the audio. You don't actually want to delay that. So you end up with kind of a pros and cons situation. In our case, there was an extra con from the fact that just trying to tell Chrome which streams are supposed to go together, the browser, not Chrome specifically, was introducing a lot of complexity in the offer answer sequences. So I think, if I remember correctly, that's why we ended up not doing it anymore. But I guess that's the history. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything here from the team.
There was also
Are
the
you
awkward
seeing that
situation
happen often? Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say there's also the awkward situation of Chrome was refusing to render the video if we didn't forward the audio. That was, I think, one of the origins of that lip sync hack thing.
Ah, yeah, that was it.
So what was it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, you're right. That's why.
I didn't hear you very well.
So there was this Chrome issue. Actually, let me not steal that away from Brian. Brian, go ahead and.
There was if we'd signaled to Chrome there was a video and a corresponding audio for it to synchronize. Sometimes we would forward the video, but we weren't forwarding the audio. So somebody was audio muted and they had silence, so we don't forward those. So what Chrome would do is it would say, well, I'm not going to render this video until I get the associated audio so I can synchronize them, and it just would refuse to render the video. So at that time, we had some hacks in there to forward, like, or actually I think it was vice versa. It was we wouldn't forward the video and it therefore wouldn't render the audio. But either way, we had to like hack some fake video to forward to Chrome with black screen so it would render the audio, and it just got to be a real pain in the ass. And I think that was one of the big motivators to where we ended up saying we're just not going to associate the audio and video anymore. It's possible that's been fixed in Chrome by now. I don't know. That was a while ago.
So video and audio are separated now, right? On the latest, I'm on the latest stable version, by the way.
You're on, and just so I understand you, so you're on the stable Debian package, so the 1.0 bridge, right? Okay.
Yeah. So the audio and video streams are separated.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I understand. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Sure, you're welcome.
So, Emil, you just mentioned about unified plan.
Yeah.
So, is the team working on unified plan now?
No. Do you have another question about this? No, we're not.
Okay, got it.
As far as we know, there are no immediate plans for stopping support of that in Chrome. You would find that there are many other very popular applications out there that are in the same situation. There have been a bunch of discussions on W3C around allowing for semantics that would make support for unified slightly easier, so that you could limit it to, you could do it in chunks and first add support in the client and then keep the bridge for later. There's a lot of discussion on principle, as in, nah, but we don't want to do that because we want people to support the entire thing. So people end up supporting nothing at all, and it's just, the entire thing about unified is that you end up putting a lot of work into something that doesn't give you any extra value. It wouldn't result in any new features.
Yeah.
So the motivation is slow to begin with, and we're trying to kind of see if we can get the W3C to at least allow for it to be done in an incremental way, so that you don't have to put this huge chunk of work at the same time. I don't think that that's necessarily happening, but yeah, that's kind of the explanation. Someday we'll probably do it, and in the meantime, hopefully, browsers would get closer in their support for unified, because I think there are still some differences. But at the end result is that right now we're not working on unified support. Okay, sounds like no other questions from the community right now.
Oh, one quick question.
Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. How are you?
Good. So, quick update. We're actually done, I think, with the JVB2 recorder implementation. Thanks again for all your help.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're very excited.
Are things better? Are things better now than they were with the old bridge for you?
I think it's too early to tell. I think so far, I mean, it's definitely a lot lighter weight and easier to manage and easier to debug. So I think those things are much improved.
That's great to hear.
Very happy with the new code base. So we realized in sort of taking inventory, comparing things, the only thing that I think we haven't ported is in the old recorder RTP impl, there was a silence effect that I believe was just tracking gaps in frames. And I'm wondering, do we need it? Yeah, do we still need it? I think mostly it was there so that up to 3 seconds, if there were missing packets, if it detected a gap, then it would just insert silence frames. And outside of that 3 seconds, I think it just sort of assumed to just kill the stream and create a new one.
I don't know. I can't comment too much on this because I wasn't too intimately familiar with the details of the old one, and I'm not sure. I guess this might. I think the answer is probably it depends. It would be my guess, and it would depend on, what how you're writing, and like, I mean, if you don't inject the silence, for example, and you have this sort of scenario, does the file have problems? Do you guys see
Well,
problems with the?
we haven't hit that scenario.
Okay,
I guess
I would.
yeah.
Yeah. I would try and simulate it and like see what happens. I mean, this is me. This is how I would come at it because I'm not like a expert in that, and I would just see what's going on there, and that would probably give you your most concrete answer, short of somebody here knowing the answer already. And I'm afraid I don't. Boris might, but Boris has been pretty busy with some other stuff. So you could try the community. You could try a post on there.
Okay. It should be straightforward enough just to re-implement. I was more curious if there's something that was already there that would make it not necessary.
There's certainly nothing in New Bridge that would give you that functionality, if I'm understanding you right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I will. Yeah, we'll try it out, and I'll post the community or in 2 weeks, let you know if there's any issues. Have
Cool.
you guys
Yeah.
switched over to the new JVB2 across the board yet? Like for this call or?
No, not yet. It's on beta Meet Jitsi. We've not deployed it all everywhere on Meet Jitsi yet. And that's we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you caught that, but it's just that we're kind of our planning kind of this slow rollout, and we've done the first phase of that, just kind of deployed a shard in one of the regions, and are just going to kind of do that to see if there's anything we hit anything that we weren't previously aware of. So there's no known issues so much as building confidence before we just kind of dump it everywhere.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll let you know if we run into any issues. But so
yeah,
far,
we'd love to hear. That'd be great.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
There's a question in the chat. I have nearly all the time a network problem occurred reconnecting. He says his configuration is Debian 007 and then Firefox 60. The chat works fine, but the network problem reconnecting continues. Some ideas.
That there could be a network problem.
Either that, or potentially you're not advertising the correct IP addresses or don't have the right ports open for your particular deployment.
But then it wouldn't be nearly all the time, right? Then it would be all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That would be 100% of the time. So if it's less than 100% of the time, then my idea is entirely not very helpful to you.
If it is 100% of the time, then yes, it's likely a port situation, like Aaron said. Otherwise, it's probably there's probably something wrong between you and your bridge. Things that have happened in the past is maybe check that the route that packets are taking between the two are what you want it to be. In some cases, for example, we've seen some people running IPv6 tunnels, for example, and if your bridge has IPv6 addresses, maybe the packets are going over some tunnel or something. But I'm just fetching stuff out of nowhere. It's just suspicions. Yeah, other than that, I would try and see. You might want to isolate if this is if it's just your bridge or if it's your client-side network. You might want to see if you reproduce the issue on Meet Jitsi. If it does happen there as well, then it might be a thing with where you're testing from. If it doesn't happen there, but it happens with your bridge, then there might be something wrong with the network on the bridge itself. Those would be the things to try first, I guess. Okay. So sounds like no more questions from the community. So I suppose we could close this call and meet you all again in a couple of weeks. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks.